In the world of Hollywood, movies get greenlit and redlit. They get remade and rebooted. But we are the ideal. I'm Sam Gasch, and you are listening to Ideal Remake. I don't think we can start with that.
Yeah, that's one of the caveats.
Well, that's one of the things that we have to talk about for this movie.
Yeah.
Are You the Furniture is not a good way to start. Oh, man.
Oh.
So we're talking Soylent Green, and I'm joined today by Daniel Gallai.
Almost. Gallai. I mean, it's a hard name. Not everybody has it. In fact, I'm probably one of the only Daniel Gallais in the world. Maybe there's one or two other.
I am unaware of any other Sam Gashes. There is a Sam Gash who played professional football.
Oh.
I think he was on the Rams, but he spelled it differently than me. And I believe there's a Samantha Gash.
Oh.
Or she might be Samantha Gasho. I don't know. There's not a lot.
Yeah. I get a lot of... Funny enough, I get one recurring email. It's from... They think I'm a father of a kindergartner. And they keep sending me emails. And they must have the same email address. I don't know how.
Something.
They keep asking me to participate in their parent-teacher conferences, and I keep telling them, I'm not this person you think I am. And they have yet to remove me from the list.
How long has this kid been going to school at this place?
It's been about a year and a half.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
So, I have that to look forward to.
So, Soylent Green was an interesting choice for a movie. I'm going to take a step back. Before I even ask you why this movie, when did you first see Soylent Green?
You know, I first saw Soylent Green after college. I was living with Will Green at the time. And
for real?
We were living in... Yeah.
Great.
We were living in North Hollywood, and I had only known the movie for the Phil Hartman Saturday Night Live bit, where he does like a bunch of sequel. He's dressed as Charlton Heston with the little
ascot.
Ascot, and he keeps running on screen and saying different Soylent colors and doing the impression of him. So that's how I knew the movie.
Soylent Blue is fish sticks.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just assumed it was like a cheesy sort of send-up, silly Charlton Heston movie. But then when I actually sat down and watched it, I was not only blown away by the subject matter that they were tackling, but also the way they were tackling it and how pertinent it was to like what is still happening right now.
It definitely feels like a natural progression. Like you can definitely see like the strings of where we are now leading to where they are then.
Right. It's
like Idiocracy in a way, but terrifying in the sense that it feels like it could be real.
Yeah, totally could be real. I mean, aside from the fact that it's the year 2022 in the film.
It was certainly a fun moment in the movie where they say, well, this happened 4 years ago in 2018.
Yeah, that's...
And I was like, Well,
maybe just a tad early on that prediction.
Well, no, because they said in 2018, the company Soylent, like in 2016 or 2017, the company Soylent released their first product, and then they merged with such and such corporation, the first one was Soylent Yellow, and then they released Soylent Red, and then recently they released Soylent Green. And here's the thing, a company called Soylent did start putting out a product a year or so ago.
I was about to say, didn't they actually do that?
Yeah,
Soylent is a real thing now.
I was having this conversation with my roommate the other day, like after I watched the movie, basically like, you've got to know. You're making a product called Soylent.
You've got to know.
You can't be that dumb.
Yeah.
So it's got to be one of those things where like instant conversation, like no press is bad press.
Yeah.
We make a product called Soylent, people will be talking about it.
Totally. I mean, it's also approaching 40 years since the movie came out, right? Because it was 1970 something.
Something like that, yeah.
So
I should have written that down.
There's also likewise. So there's actually is a gap, which is one of the other caveats of remaking a movie like this is everybody knows the point of the film.
45 years ago, 1973.
73. So over 45. Yeah. Over
right.
45.
Well,
that's also a tough one. But I feel like as a but you know, I'm like 34. So it to me was still kind of in popular culture then, and it hasn't really been. So you might be able to get away with this generation now, the young generation not.
I don't think you can, because I think Soylent Green,
Soylent
Green is people.
I was
waiting for that line. I saw this movie for the first time 2 days ago. I'd never seen this movie before, so I watched it on Tuesday for this recording. And I waited the entire movie for him to say Soylent Green is people. And it's the last line of the movie.
Yeah.
But that's something that's so ingrained in popular culture. I think Soylent Green is people is on the same level as I see dead people.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I mean, it's sort of a timeless thing. Soylent Green. It sounds so campy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw the movie, I didn't really catch the datedness of it. I mean, there were elements, of course, because, you know, it's like the 70s.
Sure.
And so, you know, as time passed between my having seen it and my thinking about it, the movie got better and better in my head. Mm-hmm. And so when I suggested that this would be the movie, it was out there enough that I thought, oh, this is interesting and obscure. Right. But also that it would be still kind of relevant to what's happening, what's happening now. But this is a big problem. Knowing Soylent Green as people is sort of what the movie is encapsulating. But
I think you gotta you gotta lean into it.
Yeah.
Because the movie, there's this big reveal, Soylent Green is people, and then the movie's over. But for me, I was like, okay, so what happens after that? I feel like Soylent Green is people is the start of your Act 3. I feel like it needs to be Soylent Green is people, Soylent Green is people. You're telling everybody Soylent Green is people. I feel like an expectation when this movie came out and the expectation today are different.
Yeah.
I feel like Soylent Green is people making this big announcement in the 70s when this movie came out, they'd be like, okay, he found out the secret, they're going to put a stop to it. Whereas my expectation now is he found out, he's making this big proclamation, nothing will change.
Right.
And I think that's a big difference, because I want to see the world not changing. Mm-hmm. It goes from people not knowing to people knowing.
And not doing anything about it. Yeah.
Nothing happens. Yeah. Like, there's still riots to get Soylent Green, there's still all of it.
Totally. Yeah, there's also a book. It was based off of a book. So right. I'm curious as to what the book... how the book ends and how that story is structured in there. You know, because, like, the problem for me is my problem with Valkyrie.
Right.
Is that I know Hitler doesn't die in this assassination attempt.
Yeah.
So the whole like suspense of the whole thing is not there for me, because I know how this movie ends.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Which is an honestly big part. I mean, we talked about The Matrix a couple of months ago, and the first act of The Matrix is, what is The Matrix?
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore.
Right.
At this point, that's your teaser. All of a sudden, we know what The Matrix is.
Right.
And I feel like in this movie, this entire movie is a mystery. What is Soylent Green? Or I feel Act 1 is building the world. Act 2 is mystery. Act 3 is action movie.
Right.
But even still, like, it's something where the knowledge of what Soylent Green is led these people to want to die. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that's really the really tragic thing, because the movie actually is about this murder, and the discovery of the Soylent issue comes as a byproduct of this detective solving this murder that happened.
Right.
Which I think is awesome. I just love that. And I love that he's like, do me in. I can't be part of this anymore. Like, I can't. And when Saul has his moment and he like finds out what it is from that whatever woman in the library.
They're the other books.
Yeah, the other books. Yeah.
That's why they were so excited to touch like real life books, but like, because I like the job titles, like, I'm a book, I'm a detective, I'm furniture.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
I know.
But it's a real good sci-fi element.
It is a real good sci-fi element. And, you know, I was talking...
It's a good dystopian element, excuse me.
It is a good dystopian element. I was talking with Catherine, my fiance, about this earlier today, about this furniture problem in the movie. And I was saying... I was saying that I was trying to figure out how you get around that now, because you'd be skewered for that. But... with where we are right now, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a political conversation.
I think it depends how you do it, but go ahead.
With where we are in this political sphere right now, with these new justices coming on, and now they're saying Roe v. Wade's going to be dead, which is like, you know, the beginning of women's rights being taken away from them once they having gained all this stuff, and having women be like quote unquote furniture in this world, I think actually would make a statement about how these like power hungry, greedy people have controlled people through like, you know,
and
poverty.
Yet I feel like that... I didn't know that was an aspect of this movie at all.
Right.
But I feel like the more you popularize it, I think the more you want to stick with it because it's a remarkably sex-positive culture. When he goes to the bodyguard's house and Martha's like, did you want anything? And he was like, if I'd wanted something, I'd have asked.
Right.
And they're just like, we could just have sex.
Yeah, in fact, he's like, get in the bedroom.
Yeah.
In that scene when
they're just like,
they're all
alright,
partying.
well, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that in a second because the whole detective aspect is crazy, but it's a remarkably sex-positive culture, and there's no stigmatization for sex work.
Right.
The only time there even seems like there might be is, well, because she's not happy necessarily with what she does. She does it because it's a job.
Right.
And also when he says, well, it was nice knowing you, Furniture, and she says, please don't call me that. And that was the only time, because I feel like there's going to be the people who are like, yeah, it's my job, and then there are people like, yeah, this is my job.
Because it's a love story between the two of them.
I wouldn't call it that.
Well, as it's the
1970s version.
1970s version of that. If they did redo this film and they made it today, it would have to be different.
Yeah,
it would have to be a little. They'd have to modernize it, and they'd have to give it a more traditional structure in terms of the way they tell the story, which is all in who writes it and who directs it.
And I had a theory of what I wanted to do for casting for that, and then I realized I didn't do that. So, Whoops. We'll talk about that when we get to casting. Yeah. But everyone, like, since the job kind of, like, defined who they were as a person, like, the book, he was just, like, he's a book because he contains information. Mm-hmm. But that's not even a concept unique to this. I mean, even in, like, Dune, that's a thing. Like, there's the guy who has all the information. Right. Like, that's his job.
Fahrenheit 451 is also the same.
Right, yeah. And that's, like, the resolution of that. So it's just... knowing things is a superpower in these worlds. Totally
superpower, and I love superpowers.
Right, but but for the detective, it's Detective Thorne. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Charlton Heston.
Yeah, because it's much easier to remember.
So Charlton Heston, like his thing is like as soon as he walks into this place, he just starts taking things.
Yeah.
And they watch him do it, just like that's the nature of this world.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
It was super cool and interesting, and like that's what happens. Yeah. Like the corruption of the police force at this point is expected. Martha wanted to hide the spoon with strawberries on it because she knew he'd steal the spoon. I think not realizing that it was also going to be revelatory of the
strawberries
financial boon of which they'd found themselves.
Yes, exactly. I think that's super interesting. You know, I love the dystopian world. I love movies about dystopia, about these worlds that are sort of collapsed in on themselves, and you have to kind of shape the world as it is, and they did such a great job of that in this movie.
Yes.
All the people lining, like the men sitting in the chairs with the machine guns, guarding the hallways while everybody slept everywhere, and he has to like kind of leap over people. And
what I found was super interesting was they're sleeping everywhere. They're sleeping on every single staircase except the staircase behind the building where people retire. That staircase was completely empty.
Which is...
because no one wants to go to the building where everyone just goes and is in a suicide booth.
Yeah. And that is also another element of this movie that I loved so much. I just thought it was so beautiful the way they did it with, because this man remembers what the earth was like before we all turned it to mush.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful thing to have him see it. And then Charlton Heston, I mean, say what you will about the guy, but that...
say lots of things.
But that performance he gives when Thorne sees what the world was like in comparison to what it is now, it breaks his heart.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful moment.
It is, and I also find it super interesting the people who remember the old world versus the people who only know the new world. Because Charlton Heston was like, yeah, this is what's going on. This is the only world I've ever known. It's fine. And then Roth was just like, you don't understand how terrible we have it. And I can't explain it to you because I have no concept.
Yeah.
And when they finally get a piece of beef and he's just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, and I love that his reaction to lettuce was like, meh.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of my natural reaction to lettuce.
But then like his reaction to soap is like, he's so happy to have running water.
Have you ever seen a bar of soap like this? Or whatever
so
it is?
Big. I was
of soap.
half expecting him to take a bite out of it.
I was too. He was looking at it like he was going to take a bite out of it.
It was just like, this is such luxury.
Yeah. I love that element. And you can really flesh that. You'd really be able to flesh that out in a modern version of this story.
But here's another reason why I think, fortunately, you have to maintain the role of furniture in this world. Because that's an extrapolation of 1973. We do an extrapolation of 2018. Mm-hmm. The reason why there's such job scarcity is because robots are doing all these jobs. The scoopers come along, they're automated cars.
Yeah.
You have someone who's a book, it can be a machine, it can be a computer, but let's say they can't afford a computer and a person is cheaper.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and robots take over every single job. Like, the vendors selling food, it's just vending machines.
Yeah, exactly.
And you keep the only jobs that only people can do, and it's the oldest profession in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they're making a lot of strides in Japan these days, but basic concept's the same. There's something to be said for paying for companionship.
Yeah, and it's also paying for companionship. And it's
you get a fully furnished apartment. It's fully furnished.
You get a pretty good life. But they also mention but then you have to entertain these old balls.
Well, the other thing is that it's obviously a blatantly sexist movie, but
100%.
But it's sense of the next man to move in, because I tried to flip this a little bit. I'm trying to remember how good a job I did, and I don't think I did as good a job as I intended. No, I really didn't. About gender flipping more, and I just
that was my question. Is a solution to this to gender swap roles?
What I wanted to do, and I completely spaced on it, was I wanted to gender flip Martha.
Right.
I wanted to make it Marvin or something.
Yeah.
Because this particular gentleman's furniture happened to be a dude, or the bodyguard's a lady and it's a dude, or whatever.
Right. The furniture can be male or female.
Yeah, but still, did you want something? It's if I'd wanted something, I would have asked. No offense taken, nothing given. Just if I wanted to have sex with you, we would have, because I'm a detective and that's how this works.
Right.
Just all of the.
I take what I want.
Yeah. He literally took a pillowcase and filled it up with stuff.
He literally did. Yeah.
It's insane.
I know, it's insane, yeah. And everybody the guys who come in to take the body away, they know, and they're make sure to give me a cut of whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
And the one thing that he took that he shouldn't have taken was the death rights.
Right.
Which I don't know where he found that or where he got it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he got it. And that was the one where the bodyguard and Cheryl.
Cheryl, yeah.
Because that's her name.
Where
Cheryl... they were well, we were kind of expecting the death rights because we were friends with him, and he's we'll let you know, and he just has it and hands it to his boss.
Yeah, right.
That was the one that they were maybe no, but everything else, just sure, take it. That's your job.
Yeah, why not? In this world where everything is, with so much corruption going on, and you have, if so many people have so much and so many people have so little, it's such a great allegory for what's happening right now.
Talk to me a little bit about, obviously we can get political with this movie, but I honestly don't see that as what this movie necessarily needs to be, other than
it just is by nature.
Yeah. It's just a natural exaggeration of the haves and the have-nots.
Totally.
But this is a world where even the haves don't have it so good, because getting that beef was such a treat, even for the super rich.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens when you shit up the world.
That's right.
It just it gets worse for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep getting worse.
We've had so many advances in technology since that movie came out, and now they have that beef and that chicken that are grown in labs from cells,
right?
That you can eat an actual patty cake that no animal had to be harmed in the making of the thing.
Yep.
So there is also that, and that's something that
That's a big aspect of the movie. I think it's not the movie, of the book AI.
Oh, really?
Because the book AI is wildly different from the movie. It's still Asimov's 3 Laws of Robotics, but the book AI is a series of different shorts, and if anyone hasn't had the opportunity to read it, I actually listened to it on audiobook. I highly recommend it.
Ooh.
Because it's different things and the kind of extrapolations of that world, and one of the things was robots and computers are kind of running automation. They're turning yeast into food, like all these different varieties of food, and they're just growing it, but they're also lacing it with the type of nutrition we need, but they're also creating it in such a way that it's a way that they know people will eat.
Oh, jeez.
It's interesting.
Dark future.
Yeah, but talking about this movie, and part of the reason why I think for a 2018 reboot you have to rely so heavily on robotics. I don't think it's AI. I don't think there should be AI in this movie at all, but I do think there should be automation. And it's just processes are naturally going and carrying forward to the point where there are no jobs left for people, and all people are mouths to feed, until finally gets to a point where the only way to feed these people is to feed these people.
Yeah.
The syntax of that sentence works.
That's the tagline. The only way to feed these people is to feed the people. Yeah. I mean, that
is basically it.
It's pretty great.
And so,
and the alliteration's fun.
Literally, it's just all over the place. And so it solves two problems at once. Uh-huh. It cleans up the streets, and it keeps people fed.
Yeah. I mean...
And that's the movie. And so what's interesting is, do you dip into eugenics? Do you decide who gets eaten and who doesn't? Because it also felt very self-selecting. This person's going home. Going home means you go to the suicide booth. You get 20 solid minutes of Earth, the documentary.
Yeah, Planet Earth. Yeah.
While they play your favorite color, and you get to lie down on a pillow.
Yeah, and then you go to sleep.
And those are the people that get turned into food. So
those are the, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's entirely true. Those people definitely do get turned into food, but all those people who got scooped up by those scoopers in that street, who got dumped in those trucks, also went to the factory, didn't they?
I think that's the assumption. We never see that.
Yeah.
Because the factory was pretty calm. The factory that Charlton Heston walked into was a fairly civil place. I don't know if he was there during the off hours, but I feel like if they had a scooper with a bunch of people that got scooped in, I feel like they'd put up a bit of a fight before they get turned into the mulcher.
Yeah, that's, I know. It's a tough thing, but there were definitely all the bodies from the suicide building.
Yeah,
definitely got turned into
the movie poster. When you look at it, certainly implies.
Yeah, look at that thing.
That those are the sort of people who are going to get turned into Soylent Green, but I can't decide if that's what I want. I can't decide if it's self-selecting, because theoretically, I find it more interesting if there are enough people willingly choosing to end their own life that they will feed the rest of the people, because that's also deeply tragic.
Yeah.
As opposed to needing to go out and harvest. And that's also kind of why because there was a line at the whatever suicide factory. Mm-hmm. It's a thing. It's like, well, he's getting old. He'll be going home soon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say that Saul learns what Soylent Green is and decides still to... I mean, he can't live with it.
Well, he has this whole conversation with the other books, basically talking about how, well, this is the thing. Now we know the secret. Someone has to go forward, and they have to do a lot of work because they have to convince the world that this is what's happening and that it's wrong.
Yeah.
And he takes that information in, thinks about it, and can't handle it, and pieces out.
I'm out of here, yeah.
I would think it would have been interesting if the entire group of books would have gone. Like, none of us can handle it, and they all go.
Yeah.
He's the named character, so it obviously happened with him.
Right.
But...
And it gives, motivation for Charlton Heston.
Yeah. What's nuts is that, Charlton Heston finally gets there, and Roth is like, you have to know. It's like, buddy, you left a note.
Yeah.
Why not leave that information?
Yeah.
Are you expecting him to show up at the last minute to get this info from you?
Going home, P.S.
Can't handle the knowledge that Soylent Green is people.
Yeah.
BT dubs, I finished the chili.
Right. But I left part of an apple.
And the rest of the lettuce. I know how you loved it so. That said, put some of the chili in a leaf of lettuce, wrap it up, eat it, super good.
Right. He wasted a whole sheet of paper for that. But that was only that's probably the third or fourth draft of that letter he wrote, so who knows how much paper he waste.
Do you think they recycle paper in this world? Because I remember them talking about clean sheets of paper as a big score.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe
and the pencils, fresh pencils was big.
Fresh pencils was a huge deal.
Because I think we presumed that like trees are gone.
Right, trees are gone. Yeah, because they have that green sort of haze, filter haze over the when he's in the with the rest of the riffraff in the world. You know.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's only clean when they're inside or they are over the fence.
Because I think they talked in the beginning of the movie about like different filters and like cleaning the air and everything.
Right. Yeah.
And then the reason why Soylent Green couldn't be plankton is because the oceans are dying, the plankton is dying. There isn't enough to make Soylent Green. So yeah, so Soylent Yellow is soy.
Right.
Soylent Red is vegetables. Mm-hmm. Do we assume just Soylent Green is people?
Just Soylent Green, yeah. I think because that's the new product. I think the assumption is that the government's running out of ideas because of this plankton problem, and so somebody from the Soylent company decides this is what we have to do.
And I also think it was interesting because I think they kind of were establishing, although it's hard to say, that the government and this big business were basically
they're intertwined. Yeah, because the governor knew what was going on. There
are other dystopian movies where it's like the government sponsored by this, or this company is now the government.
Right. Yeah.
And I certainly think that that's important because if you get a company big enough, it is the government.
I mean, in the film, Soylent is feeding more than 50% of the world at that point.
Now, here's my question. For the people who worked at the company, the people who knew, were they eating Soylent Green, do you think?
No way. They're eating the good stuff. They're eating beef and lettuce.
Yeah. Beef was special. Lettuce was an ordinary. Apples were ordinary. Beef wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, where's the beef?
Here's what I think you would need to do for a movie like this, because it's been scientifically proven that if a person starts eating people, they go crazy. Yeah. I think that's kind of your act 3. I think that this movie is a stagnating society. It is a stagnating, static society, alliteration intended, that kind of is like maintaining the status quo, but it gets to a point where there are so many mouths to feed that they have to start feeding people. But that's kind of the downward spiral, because you start feeding people, all of a sudden people start going crazy and you have to start taking them off the street more and more and more.
Right.
And instead of being layabouts, people who have nothing to do so they do nothing, they start being people who go crazier and crazier, and you have to start taking out large branches of the society. And I feel
like it becomes a zombie invasion.
No. I feel like you start the movie with everything being overcrowded.
Yep.
And instead of ending the movie on the thing Saul saw, which is just like the keep calm, everything's wonderful, you're about to die. Keep calm, everything's wonderful, you're about to die. It's the exact same shots you did in the establishing beginning of the movie where everything's overcrowded with people. Those same shots again, and there's no one there.
Oh,
the implication being that like the automation, which went to take the people out and made sure that all of the people who were causing problems got taken out of the system, had to take everybody. It gets to a point where it had to take everybody out of the system, and there's no one left.
Yeah.
I think this movie needs to be the end of humanity.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it can end. It can't end with like a yay, we took down the corrupt corporation. No, I think the corporation wins.
I think the corporation wins, and by the corporation winning, society ends.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was thinking is, I don't want us to know that going in. I want this to be written in such a way that you think that
it's going to go the way you think it is.
Yeah, you think the person's going to win, the company's going to get taken down, society's going to turn around.
Right.
I want us up until like the very end of the movie, because that's kind of what happens. It's this big mystery. Oh, what's Soylent Green? What are we going to do? What's going to happen? We find out that Soylent Green is people, but we have to see what happens after that. And I think especially we have to suffer. I think the surprise has to be that it's not a happy ending.
Right. Not a happy ending. And, I mean, what good are the people on the streets doing for the people in power in this movie? I mean, they're doing no good. So I think that's probably the only solution to them is like feed them people, see what happens there.
We get their money by feeding them.
Yeah.
And the ones that because
there is an exchange, right? Because everyone has, there's sort of like a universal income sort of thing happening, right? Because they go...
Is there?
Well, because they have that scene where they're all standing in line and they're like, oh, yeah, today I get...
Right, but they were paying for it.
Yeah, but then they paid
They
for the
had
Soylent.
money. I think what a lot of people were getting money for was paying for the people that died. Like, everyone was going and reclaiming the chip of, I know this person who died.
Right, those little
here's
chips,
your money.
Yeah, right.
And so I feel like you were getting paid for the people who had jobs were the luckiest because they had income. But the people who didn't could only make money by waiting for Angela to pass away.
I know. That's crazy. Yeah, and so, when they're... Yeah, I guess it was just a little unclear for me if everybody was paying for the Soylent or if it was something that the government was giving people. If Soylent was like a government-funded thing that they just gave Soylent to people. Or because there was that huge crowd was just
there was, but I don't think people were giving it away because then there were the vendors saying, like, all kinds of Soylent scraps here, give us some money.
Right.
And
yeah.
Soylent
crumbs.
Even if it's unclear in the movie as it exists now, I feel like in our movie, everything costs money.
Yeah.
It's just what people are willing to do to get the money and what things there are left that it takes a human to do.
Yeah.
You want a person sitting there because just an automated machine gun isn't going to do it because you need someone who's able to have, like, the distinction. You need someone with reasoning factors to be a detective, and you need a human being to be furniture, although I think it would be interesting if we saw other houses and some people had automated furniture, so to speak.
Yeah, gross.
Super gross. But that's what I think it needs to be. Like, there are the people who... and, like, that could even be a thing. Like, I don't... Cheryl says, I don't know if he's going to want to keep me around or if he's going to want to go automated.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, I think... Because she has legitimate fear. I don't know if he'll want to keep me, because there's plenty of other women out there. I don't know if he'll want to keep me versus...
Even she's being phased out of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you know it's the end of society, because everything... Like, if it's the oldest profession in the world...
Yeah. If
that's going away, tough situation.
Yeah, that is a tough situation. This reminds me so much of the Animatrix Renaissance Part 1 and 2 in that way.
Remind me.
Do you remember?
I saw the Animatrix, but it was a long time ago.
Part 1 and 2 was the how did we get here in terms of the Matrix world. So it talks about how we've automated everything and that the robots are doing all the hard work and they're doing so much of the hard work that all humans have to do now is just like hang out and party and do stuff until that one robot kills his master and they go on trial and he defends himself on trial and suddenly the other robots are like, wait a minute, if he's defending himself then I should be defended.
That's a little bit of AI as well. You should read AI and or listen to it.
Yeah, probably listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a big book. Isaac Asimov.
It's actually not. Yeah, Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, he writes big books. Thick books, small print.
I don't think they're that big.
No?
I think you're over because it's a thick book by old standards. It was like 200 something pages.
Okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad because
again,
the only other
I don't know. I listened to it, but hard to say.
Fair enough. The only other Isaac Asimov book that I have is Isaac Asimov's Guide to Shakespeare.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
Oh, it's super interesting because he talks about the plays historically from historical context and how they relate to like actual history and stuff. But big book, small print. You know.
All right, if you say so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of Shakespeare.
Right.
The library near where I used to live had a whole series of Asimov books on audiobook on CD, and I listened to all of them because it was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It was
Philip K. Dick.
Yes.
Philip K. Dick.
Yes.
Not Isaac Asimov.
No. Good point.
Philip K.
Saying
Dick.
the wrong thing.
That's great. No,
Isaac Asimov is
he's like a historian and
I do mean Isaac Asimov, not for Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because Asimov also did like old sci-fi.
Right.
Because he has the Foundation trilogy, which, oh man, have you read the Foundation trilogy?
No.
Big
fan of sci-fi though.
Yeah, that's one of the fundamental sci-fi trilogies.
The Foundation trilogy.
To the point where I'm legitimately surprised it's never been turned into a movie.
I'm gonna write a note right now.
But I honestly think it'd be difficult to turn into a movie. The basic premise of the Foundation trilogy is that there's I don't remember what the profession is called, but basically it's someone who is able to predict the way society is going to go based on the movement of the crowd, because different individuals will do different things, and that's really exciting and it's good, but the public as a whole, as a giant mass, is always kind of moving in one direction, and he predicts what's going to happen to the thousands of years in the future. This is where society is going to go. And he creates a foundation to kind of guide it in the correct direction.
Ooh.
And that's the premise of this series.
That seems like a positive way to look at the future.
It is.
Yeah. So the exact opposite of Philip K. Dick.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That honestly, yeah.
That guy was.
And so I feel like this movie needs to be. We expect it to be Isaac Asimov, but in reality, it
ends up being Philip K. Dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably means it should be made by a Spanish filmmaker.
Interesting. Let's get into that. So let's talk about. Is that who you have for your director and/or writer? Well,
I have. I made multiple people, and I cast.
Come on, man.
Well, I have favorites. I have my favorites. You know, we don't have to talk about all of them, obviously, but but no, I have my favorites for it. I had Cuarón on the list, Alfonso Cuarón, because he's so good at building these worlds. These dystopian worlds, and he's so great at the storytelling of the thing, and I just love how he tells a story with the camera.
What's the movie he's done that you would say is the movie that leads you here?
Children of Men.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And you don't think that he's already done his dystopian world?
He might have, which is why I also have Danny Boyle on the list.
Okay. Why Danny Boyle?
He can do anything. That guy is incredible. 28 Days Later, Millions, 127 Hours. I mean, he's done all sorts of types of genres of movies, and he's also so great at what he does. Just in his vision for things. I mean, he's so great. He's just so great. I couldn't believe that the guy that made 127 Hours also made Millions, and also made Sunshine, and also made. I mean, the guy he's so versatile with the camera and the way he tells stories. I just love him a lot.
It's interesting that we're starting with writer-director this time, just because that's normally the opposite of how we do this. But let's jump in, because my director is Sam Raimi.
Whoa!
The reason why I picked Sam Raimi is because I want this to feel like Spider-Man. I want this to feel like there's going to be a movie with a happy ending at the end, before we realize that it's really a horror movie we've been in this whole time. Like, I want Act 1 to be Spider-Man. I want Act 2 to kind of be like in the middle, and I want Act 3 to be like horror. Like, we are in a full-on horror society.
This is turned for the worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And that's what I feel like the progression of this movie needs to be. And that's why I thought Sam Raimi, because he's kind of done both those worlds.
I really love that. Have you ever seen the Sam Raimi with Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Paxton? It was a long time ago. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. Yeah, look this up. Because it's I didn't write it down, and it's
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Darkman.
Escaping my he directed it. And it is...
He's the voice of a giant squirrel in Jungle Book. Poltergeist, Murder of a Cat, Darkman, Three Geezers, Evil Dead, Oz the Great and Powerful. Like, that's the sort of thing. Oz the Great and Powerful. Light, fun.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen Oz the Great and Powerful.
You know,
A Simple Plan. Simple Plan.
All right, Simple Plan.
I'm pretty sure that was him. It was before Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, Simple Plan.
Drag Me to Hell. Drag Me to Hell. Such a great movie. No, Sam Raimi's a really great choice. And the thing that I love most about Sam Raimi and his movies is his ability to send it up and be funny, but in a way that's like actually truly frightening and scary and real all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, he has that great levity to his work, but it's like grounded in such a great like root of like reality that I just love what he does. He's
great.
Awesome. That's very good.
Let's go with that.
Very good.
So then talk to me about who you have for your writer. Actually, let me tell you about my writer first.
Yeah, do it.
Because you did director first. For the writer, I have a woman named... I mean, the obvious choice is Margaret Atwood.
Okay.
Because she does Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
That's why it's the obvious choice.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode of that. I haven't seen the rest of it.
I have the first season sitting over there. I picked a woman named Lauren Oliver because she's written some like dystopian YA books. She wrote a book called Delirium. She did Liza and Poe. A book called Rooms. And like she has something called Before I Fall, which is described as a dark spin on Groundhog Day that has a teenage girl, Zoe Dutch, reliving her death until she sets things right in her life.
Happy Death Day?
I mean, no. It's called Before I Fall.
Before I Fall. Okay, sorry, yeah.
Happy Death Day is one of the Wayans brothers. Or is it Damon Wayans Jr.? It's Damon Wayans Jr., I thought.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I almost watched it the other night. I didn't really trigger.
It's fine.
Ended up watching The Purge, the original one.
Yeah, we have a whole episode about Groundhog Day you can listen to.
That's the one I listened to. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fun. And she's also developing a book, basically like a Donner Party with zombies. So like she's done like YA dystopia, which is kind of like YA dystopia is like this dystopia that has a happy ending. You think about Hunger Games, where it's kind of, it's not a happy ending, but it's like a slightly optimistic ending. Like the way you write these things leads towards happy endings before it just boom, gets crushed.
Right.
And so I thought she, in particular, would be able to handle that. Anyway.
Fantastic.
She's a deep pull, but that's why I thought that she'd be interesting. But tell me who you have for writer.
Once again, I have a whole list of people that I like.
Well, talk me through a couple of them. Talk me through some of your favorites.
The top of my list was Scott Frank. Scott Frank is great. He did he wrote Logan and Minority Report. He did that TV show Godless on Netflix.
Okay.
That I liked a lot. I just really love his ability. Minority Report, I think, is a great reference for something like this because he uses he didn't direct it or anything, but it's a great adaptation of a Philip K. Dick book.
Sure.
And I think he did a great job building that world and making.
He did the first Minority Report or the remake.
Did
they remake Minority?
The Spielberg one.
They remade Minority Report. No, I'm thinking of which one am I thinking of? The one where they're on like Mars or something.
Where they're on Mars.
It's like they remade it with like Colin Farrell or something.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah. Look that one up. Scott Frank is great.
Because I, in retrospect, don't think they remade Minority Report because that would be really hard to do.
That'd be very difficult.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. That's right. That was it was a very good movie. But I like Scott Frank a lot. I like his style. I mean, Logan was also such a fantastic movie. I also like Marty Noxon. Marty Noxon is,
I know that name,
really great. She wrote for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the
That's
TV
why
show.
I know that name.
She's really fantastic. She just wrote Sharp Objects on HBO, which is pretty dark. But especially her episodes on Buffy were really fantastic and complex, and she really brought some great vitality to that show and the stories. Because I'm a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. My fiance Catherine has seen the whole series like 3-4 times, and so we sat down and watched it together. Marty Noxon is.
She also wrote I Am Number 4.
Oh, nice! Why? That's definitely YA.
Yeah. Hardcore
YA. And Sharp Object. I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but it's very dark. Very dark, and I think she'd be able to navigate the traps around.
And she's done kids movies, like she's done Toy Story of Terror, which I've never heard of.
No, neither have I.
I lean towards Marty Noxon. I think that's a great pull.
Yeah, she's awesome. I like her a lot. Just her.
I mean, she also wrote Fright Night.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we got to go with Marty Noxon.
Marty Noxon is a pretty good one. I mean, she's right up there. I like her a lot. Really great writer.
Yeah, so she's going to be great.
She's great. Perfect. I love it.
So then let's actually get into our core cast.
Okay,
and I feel like it's going to be built a lot around Detective Thorne.
Around Thorne, yeah.
Detective Thorne, the guy that I had is an actor named Daniel Wu.
Daniel Wu?
I'll pull up a picture.
Yeah. Oh! Okay, yeah, show me who this guy is.
Daniel Wu, I've seen him in a bunch of different things. Most recently I saw him in the new Lara Croft movie.
Interesting.
And
new Police Story.
Because a lot of times I'm like, well, this sort of person like has a comedic bent, and I want no comedic bent at all.
Yeah.
Just kind of a dry delivery of like, this is the world, I'm just moving through it, and like kind of like the expressive face who's like able to go through, and we can kind of see the different kinds of pain he's going through.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought Daniel Wu would be interesting.
That is a very interesting...
He's also like the lead in Into the Badlands.
Lou Ren in Tomb Raider. Okay, that's awesome.
I mean, he's done a bunch of less impressive things as well. Into the Badlands is kind of...
I don't know this show.
It's a big joke.
Yeah.
I don't know if it stuck around.
I haven't seen it.
I think he was the lead.
Awesome. I've seen him before. I liked him, and actually, I really liked that Tomb Raider movie.
I enjoyed it. It's not good, but I enjoyed it.
No, but it's exactly what it says it's going to be. It doesn't try to be anything else. And I thought they did great character development with her and finding the thing and becoming Lara Croft. I would see a sequel to that movie.
The only thing there are a lot of things really interesting about that movie.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think it really does fail at is there's absolutely no supernatural element.
It's all logic and science, yeah.
And for me, that's a problem, because that's a huge part of... I mean, I get it, video game versus reality, but at the same time, you have someone who's resisting, and then all of a sudden there is something supernatural.
Right.
And I find that interesting. Even if it's low-key supernatural, because you can lead it into whatever you're going to do next.
They could do that in the sequel to that.
That is what they're going to do in the sequel to that, and that I don't find that interesting.
Okay.
Like, I don't like the idea of holding something back. I think you have to... like, you don't write for the sequel. You write a good movie.
Yeah. And
if we like those characters, we'll be interested in seeing what they do next.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, but yes, Daniel Wu was really good in it, and because he played incredibly hurt and then also inspiring, and I feel like that's something you can do. Like, this person who's going through the motions, and obviously he's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to save everybody, and then doesn't.
Right. Yeah. My go-to for Thorn is a powerhouse A-lister.
Okay.
Idris Elba.
Sure.
I just love Idris Elba. He's so good at what he does.
He's good at everything.
And I think he'd be able to play the dynamics that the character demands and be able to hold the screen. But I like Daniel Wu. I like
Idris Elba. The only reason why I would say let's not go with Idris Elba is because, if anything, he's too confident.
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like Daniel Wu isn't quite successful enough that he has like all of that backing behind him. Like, I deserve this. I'm really good. And Idris Elba, I'm like, he's Bond.
Yeah.
Like, Idris Elba would have been the perfect Bond.
Should have been.
And like, there's just the quiet confidence of someone who like knows what they're doing is absolutely, completely right.
He is super confident. Yeah.
I don't see that in Daniel. I'm sure Daniel Wu is a wonderful guy and super confident.
I'm sure if he was here right now, we'd have a great time.
Absolutely. He would definitely be dominating the conversation.
Yeah. And welcome to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to hear what he has to say. But that's why I don't think Idris Elba... Not that Idris Elba is a bad pull, because Idris Elba
totally.
is great.
He's great. He's a powerhouse, though. He's the guy. He's an anchor for the thing, but I like Daniel Wu.
I definitely have an A-lister in here, too.
Okay.
But we'll get there eventually.
Okay, great. Awesome. So the next thing is, it seems to me, would be Saul, right?
Sure.
Saul, yeah.
Let's talk Saul. I went 1 for 1. Mine's super easy. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with a guy. His name is Michael Winters.
Okay.
He was on Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
As Taylor, but I think he's fantastic. He's a fantastic actor in the show, and I think he would be
crazy eyes. Because in this picture, he definitely has crazy eyes.
Yeah, well, Taylor's a crazy guy. He's. You know, Stars Hollow is his only.
So you
source
see
of
Saul
living.
as being a lot more of a comedic element in this?
No, I think he's tragic. I think he's a tragic person.
He's the sad clown.
But he could do that.
Okay.
He could do that in a really great way. And he's older now, so he can play the old guy and still be able to hold it down. Yeah. And also like a world wearied, sort of like haggard, weathered version of Michael Winters, I think would be awesome.
I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Let me walk you through my choice.
Yeah, tell me.
My choice is Brian Cox.
Brian Cox, my man. I love Brian Cox.
Yeah, but Brian Cox is very 1 for 1. Like, you see Saul Roth, and you're just like, yeah, that's Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Which is why I picked him.
Right.
Because he's the guy who knows a bunch of stuff, who's seen it all, who's gone through all the motions. Like, this is what we gotta do.
Yeah.
He's the guy where the world is weighing down heavily on him, but he's still got stuff to do, and that's why he sticks around and deals with it. That's why I thought Brian Cox.
Yeah, that's very good. I think Michael Winters kind of fits that bill, considering his character of Taylor in Gilmore Girls. But Brian Cox is so good. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love him in everything I see him in.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And I haven't seen Michael Winters in anything else.
That's my question. Is Michael Winters still alive?
Yeah, he's doing plays and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I can see why that would appeal to you.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
At some point I realized we have to talk about how we actually know each other, but I feel like we'll do that at the end now.
Yeah, okay.
Since we've gotten to this point.
Yeah, we just kind of went into it.
Yeah,
I was excited.
Yeah,
and
Soylent Green's a crazy movie. Like, I'm legitimately glad I watched it, and it was not at all the movie I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting, like, here's the world we live in, isn't this wild? Hey, check out this keen thing that we're eating. It's Soylent Green. We get it from this machine. It's delicious. But no, it was just dark the whole time.
It was just super dark.
Both are fine.
Yeah.
But...
And I love the murder mystery sort of detective element of this film too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite things. I mean, I also think thrillers are probably my favorite genre of movie.
And I don't generally enjoy thrillers, but this deserves to be a thriller. Yeah. So, do you think Michael Winters would be a good actor for a thriller?
I think he would bring a great sort of like gravitas to that anchor for that character.
Because I feel like, especially based on the way I cast everything else, we're going to be dealing with a lot of people who are heavy presences.
Yeah.
And we need a little bit of lightness, and that way it's so much more tragic when all of a sudden he gets this information and can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. So
I think someone whose base is comedy, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and he's sort of I mean, there is, although, to be contrarian, there is something really great about killing off somebody that the audience loves a lot.
Absolutely.
Because you have to love the character.
That's what tragedy is.
Yeah. You have to love that character.
You have to, and
everybody loves Brian Cox. I mean...
Do they?
Yeah.
Everyone likes Brian Cox. Everyone has a lot of respect and enjoys Brian Cox and always thinks he does a good performance, but he never plays characters that are lovable.
No, well, Super Troopers.
He rarely plays characters that are lovable.
That's true.
Rarely. I mean, you think about his character in X-Men. You think about...
The Ring. Yeah.
The Ring?
Yeah.
The horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Good for him. You think about, like, even his character in, like, Long Kiss Goodnight, or the new show that he has.
Yeah, The Long Kiss Goodnight. That was the first DVD I ever watched. We got a DVD player back in the day. My dad got a DVD player. He bought a DVD player and Long Kiss Goodnight, and I put that thing on, and I started watching the previews, and he was like, why don't you skip the previews? And I was like, you can skip the previews?
I remember that was quite the revelation.
Yeah.
We did Long Kiss Goodnight for the podcast.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check it out.
We did that for our Christmas episode.
That's perfect.
Because it's Shane Black.
I love Shane Black.
And so I tell my Long Kiss Goodnight story during that episode. So if you want to hear Sam's Long Kiss Goodnight story, tune into episode, I don't know, whatever, Christmas.
Yeah. I also am 1 degree of separation from Shane Black.
Oh, yeah?
A degree. Just a single one.
Tell me about this degree.
Well, Catherine has hung out with the guy, knows him, because one of her friends, Santina, she's friends with Shane Black, and they're very close. And,
that's fun.
And so I'm
I thought you were going to say Catherine was in one of his movies, and I was going to be really excited.
Catherine was in one of his movies. No, but she was a kindergarten cop.
I didn't know that.
Well, she was. Well, she ended up getting. She still gets checks from it, but she ended up getting fired from the movie because she was a kid and she was sick, and it was just like all throwing a fuss. But she's the reason that boys have penises, girls have vaginas is in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, she said it at her audition.
That's funny.
I know, pretty awesome. So for that miracle of a line,
she deserves to keep getting checks.
She gets those checks. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's pretty great. Kindergarten cop.
All right, cool, love it. Let's talk about Cheryl.
Cheryl,
or as she's known in the movie, Furniture, which is not a good name. But unfortunately, it's so dark that I legitimately think you have to keep it.
I think you have to keep it, and I think it's a
because
great
it's a real comment on the way a lot of society sees women.
It is very, and still.
But I also think that if that's the case, you need to have. We're gonna have to have a conversation about Martha because I think we're gonna need to throw away both of our Martha casting and go with someone else. That said, I'm okay with throwing away our Cheryl casting and going with the dude as well.
Yeah,
I don't care. I feel like one of these two main furniture people needs to be a dude.
Right. One of these two main furniture people needs to be a dude.
So let's talk about them both at the same time.
Okay, great.
Cheryl's tough because, like, the big casting choice for this particular actress needs to be attractive.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's particularly interesting. So I went with someone who I've actually never seen perform for Cheryl, but I went with her specifically because when I was reading Archie comics growing up, the character of Veronica would be perfect for the way I think Cheryl would be portrayed in a 2018 movie. Because it's someone who happens to be attractive, but knows they're attractive and is able to kind of leverage their own appearance to their advantage.
Okay.
And so Camila Mendez, who plays Veronica on Riverdale, I don't know if that's the portrayal she is in the TV show.
Interesting.
But she's a young, attractive person, but if someone who's conscious of that and is able to take that and manipulate the people around them, like, I think it's interesting if she... I mean, I feel like she needs to have more to do in the movie. Like,
sure.
If she knows the entire time, then I think she's interesting. Like,
agreed.
Because she's been working with this guy this whole time. She knows why he was killed, and she's friends with the bodyguard. I don't think she should be sleeping with the bodyguard. Like, yeah, no, we need our jobs too much to have been sleeping together.
Right.
And I think that's correct. But I also think it's interesting, like, they're going through all these motions, like, no, stay with me. No, don't investigate. Just stay with me. Everything's going to be okay. Hey, let me come live with you. Don't investigate this. And I think that's what she needs to be. Like, she has a job. She has a job that is, in this world, a very good job because she gets hot running water and soap and once in a great while, beef.
Yeah, I mean, she seems to know her place in the world where she, because if she's not there, she's probably on the streets.
Right, and I think it's more interesting to have someone who is very capable of leveraging their own sexuality.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is necessary in this role.
That's why my pick for that role was Rachel Brosnahan.
Tell me about her.
She is in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as Maisel. And she was in House of Cards as well.
Okay.
And she's just a fantastic actress. A really fantastic actress. And can take the sexuality of the character and do something really interesting with it, I think. That character would also, like you said, would have to have a little bit of a different storyline. Would have to be involved in a different way than just being a piece of furniture in this guy's house.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which if I could pull the tab open right now, right there, is one of the things that's next on my to-watch list.
It's Sam.
I know it's good, and I know I will like it. I just keep not watching it because I keep not having the time.
Totally. I think it's one of the best things I've seen on TV. Period.
Oh, I'm certain that's true. Yeah. Talk to me about the characters, because the way I've always seen this particular actress perform is that she sees the positive in any situation. I see her as being an optimist.
Right.
But I see the character of Cheryl being a realist.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past her to be able to play that.
Neither would I. Like I said, I haven't seen her perform in anything.
Yeah, she's really good in House of Cards, but she's fantastic in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
What kind of character does she play in House of Cards?
House of Cards, she plays she ends up dying. She's getting killed.
Shoving the train one?
No, that's what's her name?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, she plays a person who I forget exactly, but she ends up getting pregnant by the dude that Spacey kills in his car, and they have to fix the problem, and so she ends up getting killed. She's part of like the whole circle of death in that whole thing. But she plays a young, ambitious political person. I don't really know Camila Mendez.
My honest interpretation, I also am not as familiar. Ooh, shoot.
She went to Tisch, huh?
Apparently.
Okay, great.
The person that ideally I would have cast in this role is Marina Baccarin. Unfortunately, I think at this point she's a little bit too old for the role.
Oh. And who does she play in?
Marina Baccarin in Deadpool?
Yeah.
She's the love interest.
Oh, she's a love interest. Oh, she's great.
And she's in Firefly and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And
I've only seen one episode of Firefly.
You should watch more of it.
I know, everyone tells me.
But that's kind of the essence of the character that I would have liked.
Yeah.
Someone who, because basically the character she plays in Firefly is the sort of character that I kind of see Cheryl being.
Right.
Someone who recognizes their own sexuality and uses it to their own advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
ethnic background aside, that's what I think Veronica would be.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Again, she hasn't done all that much beyond being in this movie. So I can't make a strong argument for Camila Mendes just because I'm not that familiar with her performance.
Right.
That's just kind of the concept I have behind her. And
I think once you see Maisel, you see everything she can do, you're going to be like, okay, this is...
No, I agree that I think Rachel Brosnahan is amazing.
Yeah.
I do think I want to go with Camila Mendes because
but
it's a darker portrayal.
Yeah, you think she could play that.
I think Rachel Brosnahan's a comic, and so she's going to bring lightness to it. And I feel like we need to have...
Yeah. Well, I mean, she wasn't funny in House of Cards.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And also, all people who play great comedy are great at drama. I mean,
that's...
Well, that's saying...
I can't do drama for shit, but I'm a good comedian.
I don't know, man. I mean, you were pretty great in that the scene on the pier, or whatever,
because it was funny.
It was funny, but it takes a serious. You can't be sending it up, you know.
I'm a good tongue-in-cheek performer. Yeah. I have a hard time taking things seriously.
No, totally.
For example, would be a terrible Cheryl.
You would be not my first choice.
No.
Yeah.
Because I would be like, this situation, huh? Oh, man, I'm a furniture. I'm like that chair. Anyway, we're going to the bedroom now, right? Yeah, you're going to have a great time. Hot running water. But that's the sort of thing that I want to try to avoid.
Right, okay.
So, if you feel strongly it should be Rachel Brosnahan, we'll go with Rachel Brosnahan.
I just think she's the shit, and I just think she's awesome. But,
all right.
But, you know, I don't think you cast Rachel Brosnahan in the role. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Is all I'm saying. I think you'll be surprised at her ability to capture the dichotomy of that character.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that leads me to Martha. So, I have Janelle Monáe.
Okay.
Because I think she'd be awesome at it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to throw that away. So tell me about who you had, and then I think we're going to...
You know what? I didn't think of Martha.
Oh.
I didn't think of Martha.
Tragic.
I know, it is tragic.
Because there's so many women in this.
Yeah.
Which is why... It's sad that I want to take one of the roles for women away.
Oh, so you think...
I think in order to make the concept of furniture more palatable for a 21st century audience...
Yeah.
It needs to be a mix of genders.
Right.
That said, I meant to make more of these people women, and then I didn't.
Yeah, I know, right? I had the same thing.
It's because I don't know. I just didn't in retrospect. I was like, oh yeah, no, more of them need to be women. And then I made my whole cast list, and only now looking back over it, I'm like, this is still a lot of dudes, and I want to take away Martha just to make that more palatable. So that's tough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. You know, I had casting for Tab, the bodyguard guy who ends up hunting. Whatever, but I didn't have Martha.
And I think Martha's super interesting because you kind of get the difference between, this is terrible, the high-end furniture and the low-end furniture.
Right.
I don't think there is necessarily a difference. I mean, I think the movie suggesting there is, the high-end. But even then it wasn't because then Cheryl had all of her furniture buddies over.
Yeah, and it's also like personal furniture and building furniture.
Right.
So
as opposed to, dating.
Right. Which doesn't seem to be a thing.
But, Martha was interesting because she said, yeah, no, my name's Martha something. I don't remember her last name. I live here. Oh, okay. And then, 10 minutes later, oh, are you furniture? Yeah. Oh.
Right.
Because that was his first tip-off because that's employment. That's giving someone a job. And if that's personal furniture, that's showing how well he's doing.
How well off he's doing, yeah.
A personal escort, as it were, which
all
this stuff very tough to say. But that's an extrapolation of the world as we know it, which is tragic as it may be.
I would go with Janelle Monáe for a role like that, but you're thinking.
But I want to make it a dude.
You're thinking you want to make it a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. A dude. I mean, I have some other people on this list, but I don't think they're going to work.
No.
They're going to work, no, because it has to be a young person.
Right.
It has to be a young, attractive person.
It does.
And what's the name? Who's the guy who? Let's see. What do you think of? Miles Teller.
Apparently, he's an asshole.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't tell me
So
that.
here's the story with Miles Teller. You familiar with the movie Whiplash?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the drumming one.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Fantastic movie.
In every interview where he's being interviewed and asked, "Hey, did you do all the drumming for that movie?" he says yes. The answer to that question is no. He had, for certain chunks in a lot of the movie, he had a drummer stand-in. He had someone else doing the drumming. Now, this person's a very well-known, successful drummer. I'm pretty sure it's the same drummer who's in Birdman. The one who's at the end, he walks past doing the drumming.
I love that movie.
All the stories I hear about Miles Teller is that he's just a bit of an asshole. Not to say he isn't necessarily good at what he does.
Yeah, I like him.
But also a bit of a dick. So...
That's a shame.
I'm not necessarily opposed to having kind of the standard Han Solo or solo casting for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can do better. Like
Michael Cera.
No. Because I honestly feel like someone like Donald Glover would be really good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go with Donald Glover because we do Donald Glover for everything.
Right.
But someone like that. Kind of like that same sort of essence.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I think Martha should be someone who also is very aware of the world. Like, this is the way it is. And Martha should be a pre-Cheryl. Like, someone who's working towards becoming Cheryl. Like, I'm a personal furniture right now.
Yeah. Attempting
to work my way up. I'm working with this bodyguard because and I might get to meet someone who would be the next step up for me in my quote-unquote career.
Right.
And that's who I think this person needs to be as well.
Right, okay.
And that's why I think Janelle Monáe would actually work. And I'm happy to go with her.
That's his name. What about, Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out?
I mean, I already have someone from Get Out in this.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It could be a reunion.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I think you're right about making men and women furniture in this thing. But the only other thing that I think is that if this whole, in my mind, having this furniture world exist in this movie, in my mind, that means that women's bodies are not their own, which is a conservative sort of standpoint, and homosexuality would also be then looked down on.
It is, but I'm trying to avoid necessarily going that particular route. I don't want to just say one side one versus the other.
Right.
I want it to. The way I see this movie is automation has taken over, and some of the last jobs that are available are some of the jobs that only people can do, which is, I'd rather have sex with a person than a robot.
Yeah.
And so if that's something people want, then that means that there's a market for it, which means some people are going to be willing to sell it.
True, and if you can pay, then why not?
Right. So I don't necessarily see this. It's absolutely a commodification of the female body, which is why I'm trying to make it as a commodification of the body in general.
Yeah.
I don't have any skills that work in this world, but I'm good at sex.
Dave Franco. Zac Efron.
Name someone who's not white. Other than
Daniel Kaluuya.
Other than Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Let's
go with that. All right, so there's an actor named Tyler James Williams who's been in Dear White People. Actually, we should have just gone to the IMDb page for Dear White People, but
yeah,
he's in Everybody Hates Chris. He's in Let It Shine, and he's a recognizable actor. But I also see him as the sort of person who'd be like, "This is the job. This is what I'm working through."
Yeah. He looks exactly like what I would think that character would be.
I don't necessarily I don't want to give this to Jaden Smith.
Nah, Jaden Smith is he's had his fill. Tyler James Williams, Tyler
James Williams. That said, I'm also going to keep Janelle Monáe simply because I think this aspect of society is so interesting. The fact that there's nothing left, this is what we have to do. It's tough because I don't want society to be a place where people are like forced, like this is all that they have left. They are forced to sell their body.
Right.
But I also really like leaning into the suicide and choosing to end your life is everything in this society is a choice. Like you could go and be the people who sleep on the stairs, or you could be the people who do these different things.
Right.
Everything is a matter of choice, but also what do you want out of life? And it's hard to put someone in a position where this is all they have left, but it's also I don't want to put a stigma on sex work, so it's tough.
I know, it's a tough one.
It's tough.
It's a tough one, but
that's why I'm glad
when
Marty Noxon has to deal with it and not me.
Yeah, exactly. When you're put in that situation, though, when you're put in a corner like that, like you either are starving and scraping together funds to get the Soylent crumbs, or you go into this business,
where there's soap, where the soap is, and you want to be in a position where
water is, and the whole thing. And I mean, that seems like a relatively easy choice to make if you can keep your dignity. You know, I mean,
just depends.
That's a tough one.
I can't believe I was about to say this particular expression, so take it with a grain of salt that I'm front porching it. That's a tough road to hoe. I'll be over here. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Out of love for my fiance, I'm going to refrain from making any puns because she hates puns, but she's
a monster.
She secretly loves them, but she says she hates them.
Next time we all go out for ramen,
it's going to be
just nothing but puns.
Puntacular.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you said you have The Bodyguard.
I do.
While you're pulling it up, let me tell you about mine.
Yeah.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi. I went older and stranger.
I'm interested.
Willem Dafoe.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's like experienced. He's an older character. He's experienced in the world, but he's also so interesting and can be diabolical if he wants to.
Willem Dafoe would be a really good Governor Santini. He'd be a really good dude that gets murdered, but the bodyguard needs to be intimidating.
He could be intimidating. He could absolutely be intimidating.
I'm not saying we're right, but he needs to be like, look, Willem Dafoe is not going to like get in someone's way and stop them from doing anything. Like a bodyguard needs to be a bodyguard.
I don't know, man. I mean, Zachary Levi. I like him, but he's a tall guy.
He's also jacked.
But
he's the new Shazam or Captain Marvel. Like he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I actually did a short film with him once.
Really?
That's
fun.
Hang out with him in Ray Park.
Oh, so why wouldn't you want your buddy in a movie?
Yeah, that's true. And I ran into him on a train once. He didn't remember me, but he was very nice.
All right, I understand why you wouldn't want your buddy in a movie.
No, but he was very, very nice. But Zachary, yeah, I mean, I just really love the idea of a diabolical, like, sort of Willem Dafoe character, sort of in being this.
Look, Willem Dafoe's great, and I think he'd be a really good shady dude. But no, he's not a bodyguard. He's the guy who hires the bodyguard and sends them. Willem Dafoe would be a really good that landlord guy. The guy who comes in and says, here's the building, welcome, come in, and then who walks in and says, what are all you furniture doing here? Get back to your rooms. Punch.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, Willem Dafoe would be real good at that.
Yeah, he would be really good.
Like, I would put Willem Dafoe there, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not as a bodyguard.
Yeah, I mean...
He has to be able to push his way through a crowd and then punch someone.
I see your point, but I still like Willem Dafoe. But
look, Kevin Bacon would be a better... And even when he was a big bad... And,
I would put... In the Comedy Central claymation fighting thing, whatever that used to be. Remember that show?
No.
You don't remember that show where it was a celebrity deathmatch. In Celebrity Deathmatch, Willem Dafoe and Kevin Bacon, Willem Dafoe wins for sure. Willem Dafoe wins, absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know Celebrity Deathmatch?
I've never heard of this.
Am I dating myself?
Yeah. Real hard.
Wow.
I remember Beat the Geeks.
Celebrity Deathmatch was a show where they would take... It was a claymation show, and...
Yeah, the concept of that alone I find weird.
It'd be like a WWF match, and they would take two celebrities, and it was on MTV, and they took two celebries...
So it's not Comedy Central.
MTV. No, right. Not Comedy Central. And they would have them fight each other through the death. And they would,
I don't think you're that much older than me. I feel like I would have... If it was on Comedy Central, I'd have known about it. But because it was on MTV, I did not.
Yeah, it was MTV. It was an MTV thing. But I can't believe you don't know Celebrity Deathmatch. That show should be on right now. It's a great... Anyways. I mean, it's great satire. It's fantastic satire. But the point was, Willem Dafoe takes Kevin Bacon. 100%.
Either way...
I'm saying it from my man, Willem.
Absolutely not. just no.
Well, that's
I'm looking up how old Willem Dafoe is right now.
That's your opinion, man.
Yeah! And also,
check it out.
Sam Raimi... Look, I get that if Sam Raimi is our director, he already knows Willem Dafoe, and that's fine. I get it.
No shit. But look at that face, though. I mean, he's also a great goblin.
Oh, yeah, no. Also, he's 62.
62? It's fine.
No. I'm sorry. No.
I
mean... I would put him on the stairs with the machine gun. I would make him that landlord guy. But absolutely not. He cannot be a bodyguard. That is not what a bodyguard does.
I don't know. Okay, I mean...
Because there has to be that whole, it has to be a young, attractive guy because there has to be, I find it interesting.
A young, attractive guy?
I think so, because I think there has to be a reason, even if Cheryl and the bodyguard are attracted to each other, they can never sleep with each other because their job will be on the line, and they can't even consider it because...
Was that a thing, Cheryl and the bodyguard?
Well, that was one of the things where they're like, are you guys sleeping together? Are you kidding? We'd never risk our job. It's that one line and then we're done. But there's such emphasis on we cannot lose our job that I feel like you need to have a situation where those two could. You could see them.
Yeah, that's true.
But then they can't because, they can't even consider it because having a job is so important. Otherwise, you're sleeping on the stairs.
Yeah.
Or your food.
Zachary Levy.
I'm open to other ideas.
Yeah.
Pitch me someone else.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good... John Krasinski. No, I
get what you're doing.
I actually don't want...
I considered it, but absolutely
I actually don't want John Krasinski in that role.
I think Zachary Levi's a better choice.
Yeah, I don't want John Krasinski in that role.
I think Chuck's a better pull than whatever.
Chuck is a good one. Unless you're going to go with a Hemsworth. I mean, you kind of...
Yeah, or...
That's it, man. That's kind of what we got. Zachary... Congratulations, Zachary. You made it. You made the cut.
I have 4 more roles.
Okay, which roles do you have on there?
I have the landlord, which I was talking about.
Right.
I have Chief Hatcher.
Chief Hatcher, yeah.
I have the priest.
Yep.
And I have Governor Santini.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, I have that as well.
Okay.
I don't have the landlord guy.
Okay. I feel like the landlord, now that I'm saying it out loud, I actually think the landlord would be a good one to flip because I think the landlord would be interesting if the landlord was also a madam.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that.
So the person I had for the landlord is Tom Felton, who's Draco Malfoy.
Oh, great. Yeah.
But I think it would be more interesting if it was someone more like Robin Wright.
Yeah. Robin Wright, yeah. That's interesting.
Someone who older,
love Robin Wright.
Powerful, and obviously she's amazing. And I definitely think I've used her for different things before, but I never remember what I have people cast as. It's a problem.
That's fine. I mean, yeah.
But someone like that. So or Helena Bonham Carter or something.
Helena Bonham Carter. She's great. I like the regality of Robin Wright because she is kind of in my mind will always be a princess.
She'll always be a princess.
Or
Jenny.
Or Jenny. See, Jenny. So good. So good. I mean, just a dream girl. Just dream girl.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot. I mean,
another good person would be someone like Leah Thompson.
Right. That's true. What about someone like Viola Davis?
Viola Davis would be great.
Yeah.
We definitely used her on the show before.
Oh, you have? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Not that I have a problem with that again.
She's so sweet and mom. I wouldn't.
Which is why I think it'd be interesting if then she just turns and just started
goes crazy,
taking it out and just because you can't have a dude punching a woman.
If you want to make the movie really successful, just put Meryl Streep in there. Streep it up.
I do have A-list casting, but that's not where I put it.
You do have A-list casting?
Yeah. I've got a real A-lister in here somewhere.
I'm very excited when we get to the priest because I have the guy.
Oh, I'm excited for your priest because I had a lot of trouble with the priest. I have someone, but I'm excited for who you have.
Okay, great. But we should save that for a little bit later.
Yeah, well,
Leah Thompson's I think Leah Thompson's a great choice. I love her as an actress.
But again, I'm open to other suggestions. Hell, we could do Sally Field, but that might be getting a little. Well.
Yeah, I mean, Sally Field is. I mean, that would be coming out of total left field. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would not expect that at all.
Yeah, because you see Sally Field, she's this sweet woman, and then all of a sudden she's like, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Yeah, like who was a quintessential older caretaker in Hollywood in that?
Sally Field.
I mean, Sally Field is that. I mean, Leah Thompson's very, very, very close.
Yeah.
To that. Sally Field is.
What do you think? Who do you want to go with?
I want to go with Sally. I mean,
all right.
She classes up a joint, like better than anything.
She's a good building manager. She's a good landlord.
Yep.
And I feel like she'd be a really sneaky, subtle madam.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to see her go to town would be.
So talk to me about who you have for Chief Hatcher.
Chief Hatcher, John Leguizamo.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I love John.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I had Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, great! I like Lakeith Stanfield.
I love John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I think he's great. I wanted to put him somewhere, and I couldn't. I was trying to figure out where I want to cast that guy in there, and that just seemed like the right move. My brain wanted to make it someone a little bit younger, and Lakeith Stanfield's actually like late 20s or like 31 or 32. Oh, wow. He's really young, but I think John Leguizamo is actually more interesting simply because I mean, he's like the chief.
Yeah, he's someone who's literally been through all of this, like seen it all, but also knows how the system works.
And is just surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Leguizamo.
I was really
100%.
excited. I was really excited about that one because I love John Leguizamo, and
he needs to be in more things.
He does. I wonder if he's working on his writing. The first.
Where's he written?
He's written a ton of one-man shows.
Oh! So he's doing like theater stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he again.
Toured, I understand why that appeals to you.
He toured here with Ghetto Clown, maybe 3 years ago, and I ended up not seeing it. But
is that a Spawn reference?
No, it's not.
Because that would be funny if it was.
Because he is kind of a clown, because the first big movie that I saw of his was The Pest, which was not very good, but he was silly and funny in it. But the first thing that blew my mind was Freak, that one-man show he did on HBO all those years ago, which is the first one he did that Spike Lee directed. It was a revelation as an actor. I mean, just an incredible guy. My first experience with John Leguizamo is as Carla's brother on Scrubs. Whoa. And I really haven't seen him in all that much, but every single time you see him, he is amazing. He's amazing. To the point where I wrote a script where I described the character as young John Leguizamo, because and it's literally the only person I can see playing the role, which is going to be real tough for me because he's older now and can't do it. Yeah, can't do it. But that's the type of character. He's so good at what he does. I was in China, and there was one channel that had English movies on there, but they were all movies I'd never heard of before, weird movies. There was one movie called Street Hunter, which was a take on Shaft, and sure enough, on the screen, John Leguizamo comes on, and the whole movie is super blaxploitation, sort of 70s feel to it. Really bad, but a lot of fun. And John Leguizamo comes on screen, and suddenly it's a movie, and he's incredible in it. I mean, only a real actor can really do that and pull that off. Yeah. In a way. So I just love using John Leguizamo. Almost as much as I love using Willem Dafoe, but hey, it's fine. Hey, we picked one of them. So I'm going to tell you about the guy I had for the priest because you're really excited about this, about who you have for the priest. I am. The person I have for the priest is an actor named Jacob Anderson. Okay, tell me. And the reason why I picked it is because the priest needs to be someone who's literally, he's someone who exists with the burden of knowledge. He knows too much. Yeah. But he also has too much responsibility. Yeah. He can't go home because too many people are counting on him. So he just has to suffer the burden of knowledge. So I picked Jacob Anderson. You know him from Game of Thrones. He plays Grey Worm. Whoa. Yeah, okay. And because, he's great. Mm-hmm. He's great as Grey Worm. He is great. He's great. Worm. Grey Worm. Yeah. Grey Worm. So that's why I picked him. I like that. I like that choice. Tell me who you have. I picked an actor named David Patrick Kelly.
Okay, I do not know who that is.
David Patrick Kelly, the first time I saw him was in The Crow. He's the guy who gets his... You remember that movie? He gets his head taped to his...
I haven't seen this movie.
The Crow?
I can't watch The Crow. Are you kidding me?
No?
No.
Oh, come on. It's so good. This actor is so fantastic. I love him so much. And he was also in K-Pax. You saw K-Pax?
I did see K-Pax.
Yeah, he was the guy in thick glasses.
I don't remember. I saw it years and years ago.
Oh, I mean, the
guy in thick glasses is Kevin Spacey.
No. That's the guy in sunglasses. The guy with the thick glasses is David Patrick Kelly.
Sure. I just don't remember. And also, I guess he's in Twin Peaks a lot.
I guess he is, yeah. He's really fantastic. He's so fantastic. He's so good in The Crow. I mean, The Crow is one of my favorite movies from that.
I'm not familiar with this actor, but if you think that he would be good at it, then I trust your judgment. Tell me why this actor in particular.
The reason that I think he can do this role is because I feel like I've seen him do this in movies before, where he plays these sorts of characters that are sort of he traditionally in The Crow and with the Warriors he plays like villainous people, but what convinced me of him was actually his K-Pax, because he plays someone who's a little more meek. So he has the ability to be that sort of subdued, sort of meek character, but then he also has that other side where he can be that sort of like off the wall crazy person. And to live with a secret like that, what he does, I think has to eat at his soul.
He never delivers a secret.
No, but he lives with the secret.
Oh, he lives with the secret.
And to live with the secret like he does.
Sorry, you said to live with. I thought you said delivered.
Oh, no, to live with.
Yeah.
And to live with a secret like that is such a huge burden, and I feel like he would be able to deliver what needs to happen behind the eyes to make that the reality. I just think he's great. And I also love that he's older, and he would play this sort of like wearied sort of priest character.
So do you see him as the priest and not necessarily as the guy who gets killed at the beginning?
I see him as the priest.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy I see gets killed at the beginning. I thought it'd be cool if it was an A-lister that just got killed out right away.
I do that a lot of times, but I feel like in this particular movie it doesn't work. Simply because I feel like in this movie, like that's good in a comedy.
Yeah.
That's like because when we did Clue, we cast The Rock as the chef.
Oh, okay.
Because
I love The Rock.
The person who played the chef was a Samoan actor, so we didn't want to take work away because there's so few roles for Samoans. So why?
Yeah.
And so it'd be funny because like it's The Rock and then he's dead.
Yeah.
And I like doing something like that. I think that's a good move in a comedy. I don't think that's a good move in this.
What about Deep Blue Sea? Remember Deep Blue Sea, Samuel L. Jackson?
I mean, I'm also familiar with like Burn After Reading.
Right.
But
yeah.
But it's tongue in cheek. There's an element to that, and I feel like it's too heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I like him for the priest more than I would like him for...
That's fine. I'm happy to have him as the priest. I don't have anyone for the guy who gets killed at the beginning, but I'm just thinking it out loud.
Yeah, I had an A-lister.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing it. We're not going to go there. We're just not going to go there.
I do have an A-lister for Governor Santini.
I wonder if we thought of the same person.
Because it needs to be someone who's naturally charming and charismatic, and someone who needs to win the crowd over and be like, this is the world we're living in, everything's going to be great. It's someone who is both typecast as a good... Basically, he's central casting president, but also central casting CEO.
Right. Because
I feel like that's a sort of thing where what we will gravitate to, and that's why I feel like it has to be George Clooney.
George Clooney?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
Because you'll believe anything George Clooney says.
Yeah.
And then if he's doing something duplicitous behind your back, it would hurt your heart.
It would hurt my heart.
Who'd you have? Tom Hanks?
Max von Sydow.
Who?
Max von Sydow.
That is not an A-lister.
Oh, yes he is. Max von Sydow is... I mean, come on. This guy's been in...
As long as we're talking Minority Report.
I mean, that's true. He's been in tons of stuff. I mean, he's perpetually old, but he carries that sort of the feeling of statesman, I thought.
He does, and that's why we're going to make him the guy that's killed.
Perfect!
I don't know that character's name.
Yeah.
Dude that's
Solomon.
killed.
Simonson. Simonson is his name. Max von Sydow. Yeah, I love Max von Sydow.
Great. He is 89, so we got to make this movie real fast.
Real fast.
But let's run through it. So, we have Soylent Green.
Soylent Green.
Last question, you don't want to introduce any other colors, right? Because at that point it's just a joke.
Like Soylent Turquoise, Soylent Rainbow.
Right, so, that's the problem. Yeah. It becomes a joke.
Oh, also, the exchange leader I cast as well. The woman...
The exchange leader?
In the library that Saul goes to in the...
the other book. I didn't even think to cast her. You have someone for her?
Ellen Burstyn.
I don't know who that is.
Ellen Burstyn is a phenomenal actress. She was in the Aronofsky heroine movie...
Requiem for a Dream.
The one that says right there. Yeah, she was the mom in that. She's just...
I'm sure she'd be great.
Just wonderful.
Great, love it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think to cast her. Like, it's not that big a role. It's an important because she gives an important speech, but...
She does. Yeah, there would be more to that character in the film.
I don't think there would need to. I don't think there needs to be.
Well, I think it'd be sort of like a great reveal. I feel like to have somebody of a name in that role.
I don't think that's necessary.
I think it brings importance to that because the audience will definitely will know this is an important.
No, and here's why. If you have someone I don't necessarily recognize this woman. I'm sorry. So for me, she's fine. But I think as soon as you cast a recognizable actor in a role, you know that actor is going to do something of import.
Yeah. The point.
No, that's not the point. The point is you don't expect the thing of import because the thing of import happens. You don't know that this revelation is going to come, and you don't know that she's going to give a speech. You can't be expecting something like that because otherwise it doesn't carry the same weight.
I disagree. Because I feel like, yes, this is an important part of the story, but it isn't the linchpin for the entire thing. It's just in that moment for Saul specifically.
Right, but if you have... Unless you're doing it for a joke, which I've definitely done, and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's the same basic acting thing. Like, someone who gives a monologue doesn't know that they were about to give a monologue.
Right, sure, they're just talking.
But if you cast a recognizable, well-known actress, like an A-lister actress in a role like this, you know that you only cast them so that they can do something juicy. And if you're expecting something juicy is going to happen, you're watching them like, when are they going to do the thing? When are they going to do the thing?
Yeah. And
that's why you subvert it, why with something who'd be killed or something here, something there. But I feel like it's more interesting where it's someone you think is just an incidental, someone who just has one line, and then all of a sudden... that's where the information comes from. That's the person who reveals the thing. Yeah. And that's why in the movie as it is now, you think it's just going to be, oh, yeah, no, this is a book. You did a really good job. All right. And then he's going to be the person who reveals all this information. But it doesn't come from him. It comes from her.
Right.
You don't expect that. Because you don't recognize her. You don't know who this actress is. You don't know anything about her. You think she's incidental. And all of a sudden, she figures the story out. And that's what reveals it to Roth. And so she's able to handle it. He's not. The nothing person who you don't expect is able to handle this information that our main character can't handle. And that it's a subversion of expectation. As opposed to casting your A-lister. Like, let's say we walk in and it's Betty White sitting there. We know Betty White's going to have something big to do because it's Betty White. True. You come in and it's Allison Janney. You know Allison Janney's going to give a hell of a speech because it's Allison Janney and that's what she does. Yeah. I don't want to be expecting that. I want to get hit on the side of the head with the information that I didn't know was coming.
Well, I mean, she's really only in that one scene.
I know.
And it's a reveal. It's a reveal of that character.
It is, but I don't want to know that that's a big reveal until she starts talking.
Well, it has to be a big reveal because it's the last act of the movie.
Right. So it is. But if you expect it to be coming from A and it comes from G, that's what I'm saying.
A to G. There's a lot of letters in the middle there.
There is. Yeah. A lot of adequate... And I'm perfectly happy to go with Ellen Burstyn because I think she's good casting. But that's why I don't think we can necessarily go with someone more famous.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you didn't know who she was, and she's... You know, so we have that going for us.
Yeah. So, but that's my argument for that. Recognize her in some of the other pictures she's in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So... Am I missing anyone? Is there anyone else you'd like to cast?
I think. Let me just
check. Can't believe you forgot to cast Martha.
Martha.
I'm so upset with you.
That's. Hey, I was so focused on Willem Dafoe, I kind of forgot.
The only other people I can think of are like the dude who actually kills the guy, right. And that literally has to be a nobody.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the whole point.
Right. The whole point is that, yeah.
But yeah, there's no one else. It's just like, and then just scores of extras.
Yeah, tons of extras.
So we have our Soylent Green 2018.
Yes.
I mean, the movie has to be called Soylent Green. All right.
Yeah.
Soylent Green recasting. Detective Thorne is going to be played by Daniel Wu.
I like it.
Cheryl, a.k.a. Furniture, will be played by Rachel Brosnahan.
Yes, Rachel.
Saul Roth, a.k.a. The Book, will be played by Michael Winters. Tab Fielding, a.k.a. The Bodyguard, will be Zachary Levi. Martha, the other furniture lady. And in addition to other furniture people, because I kind of want to see that aspect of society expand, it would be Janelle Monáe, Tyler James Williams, kind of like a mix of that.
Yeah.
Our landlord will be Sally Field. Chief Hatcher is John Leguizamo.
Yes.
The priest is David Patrick Kelly.
Yes.
Governor Santini is George Clooney. Dude That's Killed, a.k.a. Simonson, is going to be Max von Sydow.
Sydow, yeah.
Sydow. The other book lady is Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah.
Now, all of this is going to be written by Marty Noxon, who is a genius, and I'm excited about it. And it's going to be directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
That is Soylent Green.
I love it. I love it. I mean, you had me at Sam Raimi and Marty Noxon.
Coming soon, spring 2020.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah. We know it's people, but do you know which people?
Yeah.
One of the things I was really trying to avoid when I was doing this was I was trying really hard to avoid Black Mirroring this.
Yeah.
Because, like, Black Mirror, you kind of know what you're getting. You know there's going to be a twist. And I feel like that's... I mean, look, this is essentially a Black Mirror episode.
It is.
But I don't want it to specifically be that tone.
You know, there is something really interesting to me in storytelling, especially with a mystery or a suspense, where the audience knows what's happening before the characters do.
Yeah.
And they have to see them living through
Not
knowing,
mm-hmm.
and it drives them crazy. I mean, I that's a very difficult thing to do in terms of the writing and the execution of an idea like that.
Yes.
But I personally, for me, really love that. That's so juicy to me.
The one thing that I thought that this movie was missing the entire time was I do not once see him eat Soylent Green.
Yeah.
And we need to see people eating Soylent Green all the time.
Yeah.
We need to see executive chefs making fancy things out of Soylent Greens for the elite. We need to see Soylent Green being a part of life. This is the thing people eat. Like, Soylent Green on Tuesdays is so exciting because this is the one day we get to eat the thing we really like, and we need to see them eating it.
Yeah.
Every other food is dull and blasé, but Soylent Green is finally the kind of marzipan that you can get behind.
I love marzipan.
And that's what this movie is missing, and I feel like that needs to... We need Brad Pitt level snacking.
Yeah.
Throughout this movie on Soylent Green.
Yeah, Soylent is everywhere.
I think you need to see the difference between the way the poor people eat Soylent Green and the way rich people eat Soylent Green. And I think that needs to be a huge part of this movie. That's what I forgot to say, but I remembered now.
Hey, victory.
So, Daniel, I know you because last summer we were in a play called The Good Doctor.
Yes, we were.
A play I was familiar with, but you were not.
I had no idea.
I did scenes from it in high school.
Yeah.
But you're a big theater actor. And you do shorts, and you direct things, and you're engaged or whatever.
I do all that stuff, and that is true,
yeah. Tell me about other things that you're doing. Promote stuff, plugs, and do whatnot.
Oh, that's... I thank you for the plugs. Yeah. I have a movie out right now. It's a short film it's making festival rounds called The What If Factor. Produced it with my fiance.
Now say it again without mumbling when you say the name.
Wrote and directed The What If Factor.
There it is.
Yeah, so we shot that last year, and now that's making the festival rounds. We've gotten to a few festivals so far. Got nominated for Best Sci-Fi in one of them.
Awesome.
International Toronto Film Festival.
I've heard of that.
So that's pretty cool. And we are about to shoot a music video for one of the songs Catherine wrote, so we're very excited about that.
Fun.
Look for that to drop on our Love Reaction Instagram. That you can check out.
Is it Love Reaction, all one word?
Love Reaction LA, I think. I think Love Reaction was taken.
By porn?
By porn. Yeah, it was a porner. No, it wasn't.
Porner.
It wasn't a porner. Yeah, love reaction LA is our Instagram, and you can follow all of the great things that we do. And Catherine is going to be opening Plaza Suite at Little Fish Theater next month, so that's pretty cool. She's in rehearsals for that.
Little Fish Theater is where we did The Good Doctor. It's a wonderful little theater in San Pedro. If you get a chance to check out their shows, do it because they're wonderful.
I agree, 100%. And
both you and Catherine are company members there.
We're both company members there, so I get to do some work over there myself, which is great. And I just actually received a cut of the last film that I did in my inbox a week ago, and that's going to be released soon. That one's just called Ma, but it was a different role than I've ever played on camera.
Ma, get in here with the cutlery.
That's a line from the movie. How did you know?
I'm very sneaky.
Yeah, you have good instincts, is what that is. Very good instincts. So that's cool. So hopefully that'll make festival rounds, and I'll be able to garner some sort of award out of that.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
nice.
all we want.
That's all. I just want, I'm a snowflake millennial. I just want to get the awards for participation. So
that's right. It's all.
So that's it.
I need things for shelves.
Yeah, that's all. I got a lot of empty space. Yeah. Gathering dust.
That's what we have in our LA style apartments. Empty space.
Where all the awards will be going.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, cool. Do you have your own Instagram or Twitter that you want people to follow you
on? Sure. Yeah, my Instagram is MCTitan84.
Why?
MC Titan, it's a reference to Kurt Vonnegut, Sirens of Titan. Big fan of Kurt Vonnegut. I'm trying to read all of his books. Malachi Constant is the main character in the story. And so that is the handle that I go by, MC Titan.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, and if you want to know more about this show, Ideal Remake, you can follow us on Twitter, or you can join us on Facebook, all of which is Ideal Remake. Or if you want to know more about me, I'm Sam Gasch, SAMGASCH on Twitter. Follow me there. That would be super keen. Thank you all for listening. And if this is the way the world's going to go, well, so it goes.